Hi folks, Ben from Snowy's today showing you another awesome Exped product. This is the MegaMat Max. These guys offer 15 centimeters of comfort. Their MegaMat range have always been really popular at the 10 centimeters of comfort, but if you find you want that extra bit of thickness you can kind of let a bit of extra air out and soften or sink down into the mattress a little bit more, the MegaMat Max offers that. Now they come in two sizes, an LXW, which is kind of a king single, or a duo. This weighs about 3.5 kilos and about 6 kilos. Measures about 75 in length for the LXW, and because the duo is folded in half, this is only around about 70 centimeters in length here, and sort of 28 centimeters roughly in diameter, and about 30-35 centimeters in diameter for the duo here. Now they come in, I'll put these aside, they come in a really cool carry bag, which is this guy here. It's a side loading carry bag, which means if you're a bit lazy when you pack it up and you don't squash it up as much as you perhaps could, you can still easily fit it inside this bag here. Comes with a little inflation aid, and I'll show you how that works shortly, but you put this on the side to give it a bit of extra pressure, and a little Velcro strap to tighten it all up as well. So this is a pretty useful little carry bag. Now, as I mentioned, two sizes. This is the LXW here. This is the duo, long and wide here, 15 centimeters in width, 197 centimeters in length. This guy is 70 centimeters in width, and the duo is 132 centimeters in width. What really sets the Exped mats apart is the fabrics that they use. This is a 4-way stretch 50D tricot fabric, and this is the latest version of these mats here. It's 2025. They brought out the latest version of these. Not a lot has changed, but all of these fabrics now they've upgraded to use recycled or environmentally conscious materials. I think they've tweaked a few things to do with weight and everything as well. So maybe a little bit more coring in the foam to reduce the weight and make the pack size a little bit better. But the main thing is the recycled fabrics that they use. The sides and the bottom are a 75D polyester, so slightly more durable there, because these are the bits that are kind of going to be on the ground or up against the edge of your tent, but it's the top bit that's the nice soft feel. Valves on the end, you've got two valves for the single here, a deflate and an inflate, which also doubles as a deflate with this little tab here. But then when you go to the duo, you've got two deflate valves and one inflate here. So makes packing the mat up a little bit easier when you've got more valves to push the air out of. The other addition to the latest version of these mats on top of the recycled fabrics are these little handles here. These are rated at 10 kilos each, makes it easier to carry the mat in and out of your tent. Also, just to move it around the tent, you've got that little handle there. There's a single handle on the LXW mat, a handle on each side of the double here. Now I'm going to show you how to set this up, how to pack it up, and how to adjust the comfort in here as well. So stick about and we'll show you those details. Before we dive in, we've got loads more content like this on our channel, so make sure you like and subscribe below. Now let's jump into the product. So this is the LXW version of the mat packed up inside the bag here. Now this has been a demo in the shop, so it's been inflated, so it's going to inflate pretty quickly, but I want to show you that I rolled this up once. I'll show you, following the process I'm about to show you, to get it back in the bag really easily. It packs up roughly the same size as this would for the factory, and often the factory packed bags are so much smaller than the ones that are packed up afterwards. So it is quite easy to pack up to a reasonable size. Now the first thing I'm going to do is take this out and start to let it self-inflate while I go through some other details. So pull it out of the bag. Inside the bag you've got your little self-inflation aid, you get a repair kit and some instructions as well. Not self-inflation, sorry, inflation aid. We'll show you a bit more on that shortly. Velcro strap that goes around here just to help with pack up and to stop it unraveling as you put it back in the bag. So take that off, throw that in the storage bag as well. And I'm just going to undo the inflate valve here. The deflate valve isn't going to do anything, but to help speed this up, we're going to use this little tab that's attached here and just poke it in. You can hear air being sucked in there now, but if we poke that in there, then there's no resistance to air getting inside the mat, so that's flowing inside that valve at the moment. We'll roll it out flat. Now typically what you do is get to camp, set up your tent. Even before you set up your tent, maybe in the back of your car, throw this in, undo the valves and let it sit there and self-inflate like this. You could use a pump, little flex tail pump or a 12-volt pump to pump some air in this really quickly if you wanted. You could do that in probably about 10 or 15 seconds, probably less than. We'll pump this up. You could pump it from here with this little valve here, pump here if you like, which is designed by sealing this part here with your palm. You squeeze air out through here and into the valve. It's probably going to take a good couple of hundred pumps, maybe more, to pump this up from flat. If you let it self-inflate by itself most of the way, you probably only need 20 or 30 of these to make it really tight. but in reality, you don't actually need it really tight when you pump it up anyway, but we'll show you more on that shortly. Now, just while that's inflating a little bit more, I just want to mention that this is the LXW here that I'm setting up and packing up at the moment. So we don't fold this in half. The duo that I've got on my left here, when we pack this one up, what you'll actually do is fold, or your first step is to squeeze all the air out, and you'll see the first step that I'll do shortly on this mat next to me. Then you'll unroll it, fold this in half, so you're only rolling up this much, and then roll it up again. So it becomes a little bit more effort to pack up a duo mat. Good to have a second person who's next to you, so you're both kind of sitting on the mat, squashing it out as you go, and you kind of, it's a little bit harder to roll up when it's folded in half. Not difficult, just a little bit more effort than what we do on the LXW mat here, but the process is otherwise the same with the valves and things. So we can see this is sat here now, and that's inflated probably about 60–70% of the way all by itself. The valve at the end here is still open, sucking the air in. I'm going to stop that there prematurely. I would normally, this is sat here for as long as I've talked, so probably a minute or two, but I'm going to put this on here and show you how this works. Now, this is going to take a lot of pumps to pump this up properly at the moment. They're still actually sucking air in through there now. The foam is still trying to expand. To speed this up, I can actually just push the air from this here through there into the valve, and that's pumping the mat up. Just got to make sure this fabric doesn't pinch here as you go. So this will probably, to pump this up in full now, is probably going to take me, I would guess, say 100 to 150 of these. Don't make that hard on yourself. Just let the mat self-inflate. It is a self-inflating mat after all. Let it inflate most of the way by itself. Then just use this mat and put 20 or 30 pumps in to pump it up firmly. Now I'll let this sit for a little bit longer. I'll pump a bit of extra air in. I'm going to pump it up really tight, and then I'm going to adjust it down to show you how you can really make it customized to your comfort. I can pop this pump off now because the one-way valve doesn't let air out again. I can take that off and I'll put the cap over the top, so that's now sealed up. Consider these sides are bagged out. This isn't actually laminated to the foam inside on the sides here. It's just the top that's laminated. So you can see they're bagged right out. So there's heaps and heaps of pressure inside the mat now. I'll spin it sideways and I'll sit on it just to give you an idea of sort of how comfortable it is. So this is quite bouncy. This soft fabric on top makes it feel really comfortable. You just kind of sink with the mat. You don't feel like you're lying on a stiff surface. This would be too tight for me to sleep on. It's quite firm. I don't feel myself sinking down into the mat. I've put way too much pressure in there. It'll get uncomfortable on my shoulder because it's quite firm on the side, but you can pump a lot of extra pressure into these. They're pressure tested at the factory. If you're just using a hand pump or a little rechargeable 12 volt, not a 12 volt, a little rechargeable pump, you're going to struggle to put too much pressure into these. But if you're going to use an air compressor, 12 volt air compressor, which we don't recommend, if you go down that path, watch it like a hawk, because you can very quickly damage the mat if you go and put too much pressure in one of these guys. Now to adjust the pressure, just let me spin the mat around a little bit more for you so you can see the valve here. I'm going to go to the inflate valve, because if I pop the top off of this, no air is going to escape because of that little one-way valve inside. Now I've got this 15 centimeters of thickness, so I want to adjust this so my shoulder sinks down into the mat but doesn't hit the bottom. That's the beauty of this extra thickness, is we can really adjust it. So just going to push on the little valve here and let some air out. So I can feel myself sinking into the mat there already. Immediately it feels far more comfortable. So that's probably pretty good where that is now, and probably similar to a 10 centimeter mat. But I can go a little bit further with this mat here and let a lot more air. I'm not touching the bottom yet. I've let a fair bit of air out of that, and I'm now sinking right into the mat. My shoulder feels far more comfortable. If I lie my back, it's now contouring to the mat a little bit more. I'm sinking down into the mat. And if I sit up, I'm trying to see if I'm touching the bottom. If I am, then all I'm touching is compressed foam, but I certainly don't feel like I'm bottoming out. So I'll let a bit more out just to see how far we could go. So that's slowed right down now. I'm sinking right into the mat. I'm still not touching the bottom here now. So I've sunk right into the mat there, almost to the point where I don't need a pillow. This is high enough here for my head to rest on without a pillow. So that feels pretty comfortable there now. Sinking into the mat there now feels nice and pillowy. If I now sit up, so now I can just feel myself touching the bottom, but what I'm touching is compressed foam. I'm not hitting the bottom hard, I'm just hitting compressed foam, so it's still not, doesn't feel like I'm hitting a hard surface. But just lying on the mat feels really comfortable. And if you've got 2 people on the mat, you'll probably want to let more air out because 2 people will sink into the mat to make it nice and comfortable. So we test that. If I hop off now and show you how, so that compared to where that was before, it feels airtight. Obviously it is airtight, but much softer than where it was. So from this being to the point of that being self-inflated to getting it to this point here is probably only 10, 15, maybe 30 pumps of this guy here to get it to that point, but overinflate it and then adjust it back down. Now pack up, really easy. Come around to the valves here again. We'll go to both valves this time. We're going to open the deflate valve. Got a valve there that only lets air out. We're going to go to the inflate valve and use this little tab again and open that up by just pushing that tab inside there so the air can come in and out. So the only thing stopping air at the moment is any air coming into this valve here, but otherwise it's going to flow in and out of that valve and it's going to flow out of that valve. Now what we'll do is this step's the same with both the double and the single mat. If you've got a friend or your partner next to you with the double mat, just fold it up loosely first like this, and we're going to squeeze a majority of the air out. So just do a very rough fold like this. Use your body weight to squash as much air as you can out of the mat within reason. I can hear the air rushing out of both of those valves there. One more fold. And once most of the air is squished out here now, and this is probably almost fit in the bag like that is there at the moment, but it's really easy to do a second fold. So we want to stop air sucking back in now. So I'm going to take a little tab out of there and close up the inflate valve. I'll leave the deflate valve open because it's not going to allow air to suck back in. And then I'm going to unroll the mat again. Now, if you've got the duo version, it's at this point that you would fold it in half. Once that's folded in half, or in this case, we're just rolling it straight. We don't need to fold the single version. We're now going to start to roll this tightly. So nice tight roll to start with. I like knee in the middle, hands on the side. Squeezing the air towards the valve, rolling as we go. Get a bit of weight on top. Use your body weight. Don't use all your muscles for this. Just use your body weight and make it easy on yourself. Might find when you get to this point, you need to just squeeze the air out to help you with that last roll. Roll it right over. Squeeze all the air out. You don't need to, but if you do the valve up now, you're not letting any air come back inside the mat. Grab a little Velcro strap. Put that around the mat here. Don't need to use this strap, but all it does is stop you from unraveling it all. Open up your bag because you've got this big side opening section of the bag here. A little pocket at the end where you can put your inflation aid. Tuck this in. Easily fits in the bag there. You can see you've got heaps of space. Now a little trick here, if you kind of hold this up and roll it, you'll end up catching air inside and it kind of ends up ballooning out like this. If you just fold it flat like this first on the side, make sure your clips are folded out. So you squeeze the air out and then just kind of roll it up like this so you're not allowing air to pack inside, so you're not end up with a big ballooned out kind of package. Do the clip up, and then you've got a carry handle. And that is your Exped MegaMat Max all packed away really easily. So you could roll that again if space is really a premium. You could unroll that, roll it again and squash it down even further if you wanted, but it went back in the bag like that really easily. And for the 15 centimeter thick mat, for the comfort it gives, that's a pretty compact and easily transportable size. That's Exped's MegaMat Max mats in LXW and in Duo. Check them out online at snowies.com.au.